For this unit, we're going to go over producing and printing consistent color, and we're just going to go over various modes such as RGB, grayscale, CMYK color spaces, and images, and how to prepare an image for printing, for example, with a CMYK printer, saving images as EPS, and creating and printing 4-color separations. So the key with when you're doing printing processes, you want to determine the final destination. Whether you're printing the file yourself or sending it to somebody, you need to identify what type of printer it's going to be printed on. And oftentimes the service provider, when asked what type of file format they prefer, they often request a PDF file. The second thing you have to make sure you do is that the image resolution is appropriate. And for most professional printing, 300 pixels per inch is an appropriate setting. You want to do a zoom test, so go in and you want to zoom in to your image to make sure that the images that you're planning to print out, the resolution is good. You want to look for any noise, color correction, etc. That may affect the final image printed quality. You need to allow for bleeds, and bleeds would be if you are printing to the edge of the paper. Most printers do not print the final 1/4 of an inch on the side, and so you need to make sure that the final product is going to be able to be trimmed correctly to the right size. And unless you're printing to an inkjet printer, most oftentimes you'll convert files to CMYK. However, if you're doing a high quality inkjet printer to someone else, make sure you ask. And again, when you are sending the file, unless requested, it's best to flatten the file that you send on for printing, because of course this doesn't take up as much memory. So today we're going to prepare an 11 by 17 travel poster for professional printing. The file is large, it has several layers, and it is at 300 dpi, so you can see the different layers here. And we're going to go ahead and first perform the zoom test. And one way to do this is we're going to go into choose image, image size. Okay. And again, you can see that it's at 300 resolution, which is appropriate. It has a width of 11 by 17. We're going to hit OK. And then we're going to look closely at the image and make sure that we don't have any issues. So for example, we're going to go into the zoom, and we're going to go ahead and zoom in on the various. So we're going to go to the tourist panel here, which is this one right here, and we're going to zoom in and take a look at it. And as you can see, the color balance is a little bit off, and we may want to adjust that. So we're going to go into an adjustment panel. So you want to make sure your adjustment panels are up. And what we're going to do is we are going to add a curve to this layer, okay? And we're going to click on the top layer button of the property panel to create a clipping mask. And you'll find that at the bottom, this is clipped to the layer panel, okay? And this will ensure that it only affects the layer directly beneath it. And so in the Properties panel, we are going to select the eyedropper tool, which is the one right above the squiggly one here. And what we're going to do is we are going to click on the building in the back. And you notice that the building became much whiter, and it definitely gave a much better coloration to this photo as we worked with the white balance here. And so it does look better. Now the statue so this one is good. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to now go over into the statue panel over here. Go into the statue panel here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to click on the levels adjustment, which is the second one here. Okay, and then in the properties panel, again, we're going to select the clipping so that we know that the statue, it's just clipped directly to the statue and is not going to affect anything else. Okay, and then we're going to, we have the histogram going on here, and we want to make sure that it's a good idea, we're going to move the sliders to punch up the images. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this slider here, we're going to make it at 31, I'm going to make this at 31, and you can also type in the number. We're going to make the this at 1.6, and we're going to say the final slider at 235. And again, it just gives more bounce to the overall photo, making it just pop out more for better printing. Next thing in the book, they talk about identifying out-of-gamut colors. And basically, colors on the monitor are displayed using a combination of red, green, and blue light called RGB. And while printed colors are typically used creating a combination of ink colors, which would be cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, usually called CMYK, these four inks are called process inks because they're used in printer processing. But most scan photographs contained RGB colors within the CMYK gamut. So changing them to CMYK mode converts all the colors with little substitution. Images that are created or altered digitally oftentimes create RGB colors that are outside of the CMYK gamut. So if you're printing on a printer that uses this process, you may have some problems that occur. So before you convert an image from RGB to CMYK, you can preview it in CMYK and see what color values are still in the RGB mode. So in the book they have, you're going to choose View, and then you want to go to Gamut Warning. And basically you can see here that Photoshop builds a color conversion table, and it displays a neutral gray where the colors are out of gamut. So obviously we have some issues here. And so what we want to do next is we are going to go ahead and choose Edit Preferences,